Hey, how's it going? My name's Jason. I'm the founder here at Bonsai.
And I'm Dustin. I'm the director of digital marketing here at Bonsai. And we're super excited to introduce this position, SEO AI digital marketing strategist.
Awesome. So in this quick video, we're going to run you through the job. I know we've got the JD online, but we like to make these videos just to make sure that, we're a good fit for you and that you're a good fit for us. So we'll run through who we're looking for, a bit about Bonsai, a bit about the career opportunity, the compensation package, and next step. So really who we're looking for, it's, kind of a combination of a cowboy, meaning that, it's changing landscapes all the time. Like it's, if online, the World Wide Web is the wild, wild west, we're looking for a, cowboy who can tame it, who can deal with the chaos and, really come up with uh, winning strategies. And so there's a lot of drudgery in this job that is like diving deep into data and, finding the strategic insights from that data, then implementing, those strategies, tracking those strategies, presenting the results of those to the internal team as well as to clients. It's a 100% go 99% of the time. So if you're just looking for a job, probably isn't the right role for you. And with that, we're really looking for somebody who, doesn't just use ChatGPT, has used a lot of different models, has, maybe experimented with or actually implemented multi-agent, agentic type of automations to streamline, the SEO, content production process, all those things. And also looking for somebody who's a little crazy. Again, like I said, you can go work client side and have a nice 9 to 5. I think people who are attracted to work at an agency like Bonsai are looking to be, the best of their peers in their position. At an agency, you get to work on a lot of different projects for clients in different industries and really sharpen your tool belt and, become a much more effective professional. So if that's what you're looking for, that's what we're looking for. Really it comes into like willing over able. We take passion over knowledge. You got to have the basis, but we really want people who are passionate about this work. We really value people who work hard. It's called work for a reason. Having a service attitude. We are in the service of our clients' success. We kind of sit behind the scenes, to help them achieve greatness. We're looking for somebody who wants to aspire to do great work, not just checking tasks off. Somebody who's collaborative, somebody who is personable and friendly. And Dustin, I'll let you finish this up.
Yeah, I really think of Bonsai as a sandbox. It's a place that someone that has a lot of ideas can come, try those ideas out. Every idea is received with, from an equal view. And because of that, like Jason said, we're looking for someone who really has a desire to learn slash figure it out. So many of the cutting edge strategies that we're implementing today are because we had an idea and we went and figured it out. In tandem with that, we have a virtual work from home environment. That's awesome, gives you a lot of flexibility, but also requires a lot of discipline. We also look for great communication skills. Being said, with like a virtual environment, being able to communicate with your team, jump on meetings, basically be able to uh, communicate what you're trying to do and then follow through with it. Organized and accountable, that goes without saying. Good marketing and digital marketing foundation. This is key. If you are really trying to push the boundaries, we're looking for someone that has a foundation to build upon. And then the biggest thing is, the give a shit factor. Um, a lot of the times it's easy, like Jason said, just to check off tasks. But at the end of the day, that doesn't lead us to doing dope shit. And really what we're trying to do is do the best thing and the coolest stuff for our clients.
Yeah, 100%. And then, if you check us out online, which I encourage you to do your research, whether it be with ChatGPT or Glassdoor comparably, but we really strive to create an environment where producers, creators can come and succeed. We don't micromanage. We really believe, I believe my job as the owner founder of this agency is to, support everybody working on the front line to make sure they have everything they need to be set up to succeed. Yeah, we challenge you. Yeah, we'll push you. But ultimately we want you to come to a place where your ideas can be heard, they can be implemented, they can be tracked, and we can all celebrate them when they're successful. Moving on to core values. So like Dustin said, do dope shit. That is one of our core values. We spend more time working than just about anything else in life, so why spend that time if it's not to you know grow your craft and your ability. So that goes along with delivering. Like, you have to deliver. You do what you said you do, when you said you do it, how you said you do it. And at Bonsai, the really cool thing is that the results we get for our clients, which you'll see a few examples of here, no one person at Bonsai could achieve on their own, which is pretty cool. It really does require, you know, developers, creatives, writers, photographers, videographers, SEO specialists, social specialists, all these people coming together to craft a strategy that's not only engaging and all of those kind of things, but hits the KPIs and objectives of the companies that we work for. Yeah, and with that, taking pride in our work, grow or die. Really in this world, AI changes every other day, if not every day. So you have to be pushing your learning. What worked last year in SEO, for instance, will not work in today's, hyper competitive, scaled AI content world. And then, of course, again, at your service, having an attitude of servitude will do you well here. So real quickly, going through our services here, we offer at the end of the day digital marketing, web and app development, creative services. We have a new AI line of services that we're preparing to launch, and kind of your typical things in each of those buckets. Really our approach and style is to make an impact. Our mission is to make a marked difference in our client's business. So when you look at that line chart, over time of their company growth, you see an inflection, and that is when they started working with Bonsai. That's our goal. That's the mission. And so with that, it's about communicating with impact. It's people see something like 1,000 or 10,000 marketing messages every day. So, if you're going to say something, it needs to be worth taking people's limited attention. So, there are a lot of ways to do that. One is to say less and convey more. And then a big thing that we're all about is anticipate and iterate. And, just like if you were a server and somebody ordered a steak, you want to make sure they have a steak knife and A1 sauce. Well, it's the same thing here. If we're working with a client, we understand that they're, experiencing these issues. We want to anticipate what their needs would be, and help them provide a solution. And then once those, strategies are implemented, we need to be ready to iterate. It's not the 1950s. These aren't billboards that are going to run across the country for a 6-month period of time. So in today's market, A/B testing, 100 different taglines or headlines or CTAs is more important than is maybe coming up with the perfect tagline. And so these are really core to how we approach our work. You
And I
look
just
at our
want to
client.
chime in
Yeah,
there
go
real
ahead.
quick,
Yeah.
Jason. On the anticipate and iterate, I think this is a big key for this role. A lot of our clients that we've worked with, they're long-standing clients, and sometimes things don't work. And so something that we're looking for in this role is someone that can really take a look at the data, take a look at what we've done in the past, and if that didn't work, come up with what we're going to do in the future. I think that is the key to being successful in this role, is always coming back to the drawing board and figuring out how can we do what we were doing.
Yeah, 100%. And that, Dustin, reminds me of, as we get to some of the clients that we've worked with, but for instance, when we worked with a major electronics manufacturer, take your guess from that list, but they came to us wanting to rank organically number one on Amazon for terms like smart TV and other terms like that. And yeah, at that time there wasn't a defined program, but we really got to take our 10, 15 years of experience prior to that, optimizing pages in search engines, and apply that to products on Amazon search. And we got to do some really cool things. We weren't sure if it was going to work, but with that type of work, it's you do the due diligence up front, you implement, and then you kind of have those different ways that you can turn to ultimately get to the end destination. And that's the kind of stuff that we get to do here at Bonsai. Beyond that, I know it's kind of crazy. Two dudes wearing hats, pretty relaxed in our approach. Get to work with companies like Amazon, Microsoft, Costco, and those types of enterprises. Also for Supra boats, Moomba boats, Regulator, Jayco RV. I mean, uh, you know, again, been doing this 16, 17 years now. I couldn't be happier, not only with the team, but also with our roster of clients. And it's not by happenstance. If you've, spent any time in the agency world, you have to work and you earn each rung of that ladder. And we've definitely earned our place in the agency space. I think you'll find us different than a lot of agencies in that we really pride ourselves on being approachable, educating, providing value, uh, and working with our clients again ultimately to their success. So yeah, just a few clients to highlight here. Uh, some of our certifications, we're a Facebook Blueprint certified, A plus Better Business Bureau, we're a Google partner, and we are a platinum contributing partner on Umbraco, which is a content management system. We work with a lot of different CMSs, whether that's WordPress, Shopify, all sorts of different platforms given the need of our clients. And then awards. There are, I don't know if they're showing up in the background here, but we've got a number of them. They're not everything, but I think they are a good reflection or byproduct of doing great work, of having everybody on the team and each of these specialists come together and create something that's not just beautiful, that doesn't just function well, that doesn't just get great search results and all that kind of stuff. It's cool.
Yeah.
And we've gotten to do it across, augmented reality apps and website designs and marketing. So we've won awards across all our services.
And we just got to go down to Miami to receive an award for the best marine marketing website for Regulator. A lot of these awards, typically you don't get to go to the awards ceremony, but especially in this power sport industry, we're getting to attend a lot more industry events, and are being recognized for the work that we're doing, which is really, really cool.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. Yeah, just a few of the team members, myself and Dustin. We got Sean O'Connor as our brand strategist, Evan Frazier is our creative director, Jesse's our lead dev, Sarah Power project manager, Matt Crow chief of staff, and Jessica Carroll account manager. And there's a lot of other members on the team. This is just kind of the core, I would say, management team. In the marketing department, you'd also be working with Maria. She is a vet and just an absolute killer, across LinkedIn, Google ads, analytics, ABM outreach, SEO. I think the think tank here runs deep. And what's more impressive than that is everyone's ability to share their knowledge. And just an example of that, we do Monday morning meetings. we do jokingly, we like to call it our edumacation for the week, in which one team member gets up and does a presentation on, something that relates to their specialty. And the reason that we do that is we believe that by cross pollinating, whether it be UI UX trends or best practices with, SEO or with dev technologies and different things, ultimately, we're going to be, set up better to succeed. And the better we understand what each of us are doing and how that impacts client success, the better that we can all work together, because that's obviously vital to what we do.
Yeah, just kind of jumping into a couple of the SEO projects that we've been working on. Super Boats has been a long time client of ours. I think we've been working with them for 3 or 4 years. So we've got a lot of history. We're doing a lot of different components for them, but one of the big components and how this relationship started was um, partially because of SEO. And so Super Boats, they went through a rebrand, not necessarily rebrand, but the models, the overall feel of the brand significantly changed. And so now they wanted to compete with the top wakeboarding boat brands in the industry. Go to the next slide, Jason. So when we started with them, for terms like wake boat, luxury wake boat, wakeboarding boat, I mean, they weren't even in the top 100. And, the competition was. So within a matter of months, we went nose down to the grindstone and started producing content. And the results were pretty monumental. They are now ranking number one, two, three for all their core terms. We've written, you know, hundreds of blogs relating to the wakeboarding industry. And we've been able to achieve some really awesome organic results for this company. One of the things that we also do is you know, these brands can't necessarily compare their products to others. It's just kind of taboo in the industry. So one of the things that we've done is, as part of our backlinking strategy, we actually go out and try to work with the listicles. So one of the things that we did in 2024 is we wrote tons of top wakeboarding boat articles on third-party sites. At one point, we were ranking for 6 of the placements with these articles for like all of 2024. So this was a really cool play. Not only did we get the backlink juice from all these links, but it was a great way for people in that top of funnel kind of search to instantly see that Supra is a top contender in this space when it is a little bit of a newer brand.
Yeah, one of the cool things too, I think, Dustin, was when we were down at Dealer Week and we had dealers coming up to us saying, the thing that we've seen in the last few years is all of a sudden people started coming in and asking how the Centurion or Mastercraft or Pavati or whatever compares to a Supra. All of a sudden Supra became the standard. And I think that really speaks to the power of search, the power of SEO, and really how you can leverage creative strategies to get around what would be a roadblock, publishing content on a manufacturer's website that talks about its competitors, pretty taboo. But finding a way to make it work and dominate the search rankings.
Yeah. I think that's just a great way to point out how we're kind of pushing the limits of, what's possible. We're always trying to think about a strategic angle. I mean, SEO at its core is on page, content, off page. But how can we use those buckets to do things that our competition won't? And, you can see in 2023, 73 or 76 backlinks and articles published for Supra. I mean, we're always hitting it. So, there's a lot of different components that go into their success. But you can see here that, previously back in October here, it's just kind of stagnant. Their traffic really wasn't changing too much. And we started working with them right around May, June, there at the end. And you can see the growth. And that all comes from doing the right things continually over time with the right strategy. And you can see here that this is even better representation of it. So 124% increase in organic users. Their leads shot through the roof. top 10 keywords up like crazy. And this is just for stuff that we're specifically tracking, in SEMrush position report. But you can see that growth in that top chart. It's incredible. When we get wins like this, it allows us to pursue all kinds of cool projects for brands like this. Just if you want to go to the next slide, I'll let you talk about this, but this is an epic project that we got to do for Super and Moon Boats.
Yeah, so this is really cool. Over about the last decade, we have been, investing a lot of time and energy into augmented reality, AI, computer vision, and various technologies that, allow us to create a more personal digital experience. And so, it allowed us to build a, augmented reality app where somebody could place a super boat in their driveway on their dock at scale, go through the different features, customize it to their heart's desire. And we also have a web version built in WebGL and some pretty cool technologies there. And so, um, again, I think if we were like just an SEO shop, the value that we could provide to our client is there's a ceiling there, right? And it's cool. We're getting top of funnel traffic. How do we then get that traffic to engage with the brand, explore the brand, and move down the funnel ultimately to purchase? And so, uh, again, I like to say we're not your average shop. We produce, some pretty out there stuff. And it's really that blend of deep technological understanding, deep creative ability, deep, digital SEO, advertising, um, chops that it's not just, strategy and implementation. It's like creative implementation, leveraging SEO to, to really run with things. So this is an example of another app that we built. Again, augmented reality. It's basically replacing the physical tour guide with a augmented reality tour guide. So fun project that we're doing a lot of other AI oriented things around as well. Um, yeah.
And this is one of them. I mean, we all know the SEO space is changing dramatically with the use of AI. And, just thinking about the last 2 years of how much that's changed. This is a big direction that we're going with the agency across all of our different offerings. This is a particular example for a company called Admission Auto. Basically, they are a admission consulting for colleges. One thing that we basically, looked at is through all the SEO research, like there are tons of terms that we could rank for that, it would 5 years ago would have taken an entire team of writers to do and huge amounts of resources. So what we did instead is we basically trained multiple language models, created an SEO strategy that covered every college in the US, all the different kinds of topics that people were searching for. And we started publishing content on a massive, massive scale. Basically, we started this project in October, and you can just see how much it ramped up. I think today they've published, a few hundred pages, and we're outranking colleges for their own, college terms. They had a 47% increase in organic users, which led to a 44% increase in organic leads, and top 10 keywords doubled. I think their traffic, you can see it here, the estimated traffic just skyrocketed compared to what they're used to. So we're still in the early processes of seeing how far this strategy is going to go. Like I said, it's something that we did just this last November, but this is the type of stuff that we're trying to push the limits with in our SEO strategy and other strategies within the agency. The only agencies that I think are going to survive are the ones that are really, really capable of leveraging AI tools to enhance the processes and services that we're currently offering.
100%. My belief is that all of the world's knowledge will be published in the next 3 years, and it'll be the companies and organizations that publish that information first who are going to create such a competitive advantage. And so it's not about AI taking our jobs. That's not what keeps me up at night. It's not mastering these tools, and having the tidal wave that is AI, you know, take us out. And so, yeah, I believe that when you master these tools, you exponentially increase the value that you can provide to clients, to companies, which therefore exponentially increases your take home potential. And I think all of us here at Bonsai are very much on that path.
Yep. And this just goes to show like what these articles look like. We're not just churning out, junk. Like the biggest key to AI and SEO is making it seem like it's not AI. So, it's a huge, huge component of this role. We really want someone that is taking these tools and figuring out how we can use them.
Yeah, 100%. And I think, when you look at the breakdown of responsibilities, we want to be very clear. Like there definitely are, you know, uh, client facing activities. Like you are going to be presenting research, you are going to be presenting results, you are going to be owning relationships, which thereby means that you play a important role in the agency. There is project management. You are going to have to create tasks, to comment on tasks, to track your time, to all of those things. There is definitely a strategic part. This is a little bit more of the fun if your mind is oriented that way. And you could say it's 100% is this is doing the work. But the rest of the time, I really think you're in the trenches, writing the content, creating the automations, updating title tags, creating reports, just the myriad of tasks that you'll be responsible for.
Yeah. And so a lot of this is in the job description, but some key components that we're looking for in this is, obviously a solid foundation in SEO and how it works. Also, we'd like you to be familiar with Google Ads, Bing Ads, social advertising, because it's a big component of our strategies. Most of our clients aren't just doing one service, and all of these things work together. So knowing how these play a role is huge. We've hit on it enough times, AI and large language models, making sure you're staying up to that you're hungry for that type of knowledge. Um, and then digital strategy and analytics, this is a big component. If you can't interpret analytics, we don't know if things are working. So that's a huge, huge piece of this. And then everything else, strategy, contractor management, client and account management. You need to be comfortable communicating with our clients, um, and in a way where you're able to take complex ideas that we deal with daily and, for lack of a better word, dumb it down a little bit. We talk to people up at the C level, we talk to marketing directors, we talk to all different types of people, and the way that we communicate with them is different. So just having a good sense on how to communicate these complex topics is huge. And then getting into the compensation. So this is starting at a base of 70K plus benefits. We pay 90% of medical, dental, and vision after 3 months. We do performance bonuses. Every quarter, we do a quarterly review. We set expectations and goals, which helps with your growth, but also kind of gives you a North Star of what you need to tackle to make more out of it. We do 3 weeks paid vacation, which is accrued. And then, we're primarily work from home. There are some travel requirements, especially for quarterly business reviews that we have with most of our key clients. It's a good way to get, face time with the team as well as go out and get face time with the client. But for our bigger clients, we do that on a quarterly basis.
Yeah, so I think next steps, if this position sounds like the challenge that you've been looking for in your career, we encourage you to, this was originally posted on ZipRecruiter. Go to the JD, submit your resume, answer the 5 or so questions that we have there. We're gonna take a week to 2 weeks to collect resumes, and then we'll be reaching out to do kind of a fit interview, kind of a quick just check base. Is this a good fit for both parties? and then we'll dive into deeper interviews with the core team and take it from there.
Yeah.
Anything else?
No, just super excited, you know, to potentially meet you and go from there.
Awesome. Well, thanks again for checking out this video and this opportunity here at Bonsai, and we look forward to meeting you soon. Thanks a lot.